This morning, ballots for the state's primary are still being counted. Right now, we are monitoring the latest results in the governor's race as well as other local races. Thanks for being here on this Wednesday after Election Day. I'm Eric Conrad. It is 6 a.m.
I'm Vanessa Paz. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest results in the race for governor. The front runners are Republican Steve Hilton and Democrat Javier Becerra, followed by Democrat Tom Steyer and Republican Chad Bianco.
Working for you here, and we do have team coverage. News 8's Tori Apodaca and Chris Groh tracking the key races. We want to begin with Tori for the latest on the governor's race here. Tori.
Hi, good morning. With more than 60 candidates on the governor's race alone, it did seem pretty wide open. Of course, we had been tracking some of those early polls, but now those votes finally rolling in. Here's what the top two candidates had to say as those results came through last night.
Change is coming to California. I want to just say something from my heart to every single person who's voted for me. We're not there yet, but it's looking good.
He's counted out, an afterthought, overlooked by many, outspent by a ton, even called along the way to drop out and save us all the trouble. Well, guess what? The underdog stayed in the fight.
Yeah, the energy high for both of them last night. Right now, Republican Steve Hilton has 27.8% of the votes, and Democrat Javier Becerra is behind him with 25.4%. Hilton says he's running because California has become too expensive and hard for small businesses. His first-year priorities: lowering vehicle registration costs, gas prices, electric bills, and making people's first $100,000 tax-free. Becerra has campaigned on a promise to make housing more affordable so working families can buy homes and retire in California. His top priorities: building more housing, protecting access to health care, and expanding education like preschool programs. And of course, these are just the early election results. The registrar of voters here in San Diego says that the next round of results will be coming out tomorrow, Thursday, at 6 p.m. We, of course, will bring you those numbers as soon as we get them. Reporting live in San Diego this morning, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
Billionaire Democratic activist Tom Steyer is currently in third place in the race for governor. Speaking with supporters in San Francisco last night, Steyer walked out to Tom Petty's "I Won't Back Down" and vowed to stay in the race.
That's what we're fighting for together. And that's what the corporations are hell-bent on stopping, because they know what we know. If we win, corporations lose. I've always been an optimist, and tonight I remain an optimist. None of this is far off.
Steyer spent a record-breaking $195 million on ads in his bid for California governor. We're also hearing from Republican contender Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco.
No matter what the outcome is, I'm either going to be your next governor, or I'm still going to be your sheriff that is going to be... But in the end, I will make absolutely sure that Sacramento hates me and you all love me.
Bianco is currently in fourth place. Also this morning, we are continuing to monitor the latest results for California's 48th congressional district race.
Yeah, the latest numbers showing Republican County Supervisor Jim Desmond in the lead, followed by Democratic San Diego City Councilwoman Marnie Von Wilpert. The district is up for grabs for the first time since the district map was redrawn. Let's bring in News 8's Chris Groh in the studio here with reaction to these numbers. Still many more ballots to be counted here, right?
Yeah, more ballots to count, but the Associated Press has called it for County Supervisor Jim Desmond and San Diego City Council member Marnie Von Wilpert. But the reason we want to go ahead and continue to follow those numbers is to see if that gap widens or if we see things get a little bit closer between those two, because this, of course, was a district redrawn under Prop 50. California Democrats did that to flip as many as 5 Republican strongholds. California Democrats hoped that this would be one of them. In fact, we saw incumbent Darrell Issa go ahead and retire after Prop 50 was passed. But this was a strong performance by Supervisor Jim Desmond, a Republican, hoping to replace Issa and also having received the endorsement of ISA. Now, jumping into the race was Marnie Von Wilpert, as well as at least 8 other Democrats. Looking at the numbers, you have to wonder, will Von Wilpert be able to consolidate the Democratic vote in November, or will Desmond continue the Republican grip on this district? Let's hear from him.
Want to, be able to get the resources of D.C. and bring that back to Southern California so that we can solve our problems here. I'm not going to be a congressman that shows up in D.C. and disappears. By being a mayor and being a county supervisor, I know I'm boots on the ground.
Now, take a look at your screen here. This is a statement that we heard, that we got from Marnie Von Wilpert. This is part of her statement. She wrote, quote, "Jim Desmond has proven he will be just another rubber stamp for an extreme MAGA agenda that raises costs, attacks fundamental freedoms, and leaves working families behind. I got into this race to fight for the America we believe in, where workers get a fair shot. The rule of law means something, and we treat one another with dignity and decency, not cruelty and contempt." Of course, we'll continue to update the vote count once we get that next ballot drop, which is expected sometime this afternoon. Eric?
All right, one of the biggest local questions on the ballot was Measure A, San Diego's proposed vacant homes tax. Here's the results. So far, no has 58% of the vote to the yes is 42. The measure aims to charge property owners $8,000 starting in 2027 for homes left vacant more than half the year, with the tax increasing to $10,000 the following year. Supporters say it could help free up housing and generate revenue for city services. Opponents argue it's a new tax with no guarantee the money will be used to address the housing crisis. In the race for Chula Vista mayor, incumbent John McCann currently in the lead by far, running for re-election against Francisco Tamayo and Yair Gersten. We caught up with McCann last night, who has 60% of the vote.
No matter what I get, even if we get over 50% of the vote, we still have to go to a general election. So they're going to see me again on the ballot in November, but I'm here to serve, and every day I work harder to be able to serve our community.
Los Angeles voters had a high-stakes mayoral race. Incumbent Mayor Karen Bass was criticized over her response to the city's devastating wildfires. She is being challenged by Trump-endorsed Republican and former reality star Spencer Pratt and City Council member Nithya Raman. Here's a look at the latest results for this. Bass in the lead with Pratt in second place right now. Bass with 35%, Pratt with 30%. And you can see that Nithya Raman with 22%, Adam Miller far behind at 4%. Here's what the candidates said last night.
Los Angeles is where I was born and raised. Los Angeles is the city that I love.
People just want the truth. They don't want to get lied to. They want to know somebody's heart.
We had no institutional backing, but what we did have was a vision for Los Angeles.
Leading vote getters will advance to the general election in November. The county says the next update for election results is happening tomorrow at 6 p.m., so some of these leaders could be changing. Stay with News 8 for the latest on air and on the free CBS 8 app on your phone and your TV.
This morning, a brush fire is burning south of Dilzura. Evacuations are in effect. The fire is 700 acres on the U.S. side of the border. Right now, there is zero containment on the fire, and there's currently a temporary evacuation point over at Steel Canyon High School, and that's on Campo Road.
Always concerned about windy conditions when we see these fires,
Yeah.
Whether they're at the border or not. How is the wind looking out there here today?
So this afternoon, we'll still be getting a little breezy, light to moderate winds. Out in East County, they tend to be a little bit more pronounced. That means that we'll probably end up seeing those gusts climb to about 15, maybe 20 miles per hour at times. That's not as intense as we've seen in the past, but still any uptick in wind speeds and wind gusts is something to watch for. Not to mention out where that fire is burning, temperatures this afternoon could be up to about 90 degrees. Our mountains in general will be closer to about 85 or so. 106 out toward our local deserts. That's hotter than we've been all week, and we are going to keep climbing from there. We should peak at about 108 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Close to the water, though, it's been mild, and it will continue to be mild out there. 69 degrees, maybe 70 or so. Clouds are hanging on along the coast and inland, so the marine layer very much pronounced this morning, and then will peel its way back closer to about 9 a.m. But that air quality is something to watch for. We do have a smoke advisory thanks to the San Diego Air Quality District. Affected communities around Tecate, Campo, as that fire continues to burn at 0% containment. Afternoon winds, again, light to moderate, so there's a possibility that we see some more smoke or at least haze associated with it. So when that air dips into the unhealthy for some groups range, it is important that you, of course, heed those warnings and maybe limit the amount of time you're spending outside. Here's the live look outside at the area we're talking about for the Border 6 fire. 600 acres on the U.S. side, 520 on the Mexico side, and again, 0% containment. Once the sun comes up a little bit more, we'll be able to make out whether or not we are working with just a blanket layer of haze thanks to morning clouds, or whether or not we'll actually see any smoke rising. But for now, what we're seeing here is just that sunrise view. So we'll give it some time before we're able to really make a statement as to how that's looking this morning. Temperatures are going to keep climbing today into tomorrow. Thursday expected to be our warmest day, whether you're across our valley floors or all the way to the mountains. Even the desert's expected to see their warmest temperatures tomorrow. After that, low pressure starts to move in, helps to cool us down all the way through the upcoming weekend. The weekend is a lot more comfortable and a lot cooler. But we will see another warm up going into next week, it seems. All right, let's check in on how traffic is looking this morning so far. We've been actually very quiet out there. I'll take you to one spot that just popped up on our maps here, very close to the Coronado Bridge. This is off the 5 freeway northbound in to the National Avenue exit. There's an accident there, partially blocking the off-ramp in Barrio Logan. There's also a crash way up in about the Temecula area. This is blocking the right shoulder in Pala on Pala-Temecula Road. This is off of the 16, it seems, northbound, Highway 16 northbound after Pala Mission Road. So it's something we'll be keeping an eye on too. Live look at southbound 5 at Harbor Drive. Pretty smooth out there in both directions. We'll be checking in on these types of views all morning. Let's take a look at your border wait times, where right now it's a 60-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. Should take you about an hour. Otay Mesa Port of Entry going to run you just a little bit longer, about an hour 40 in total.